Dasher, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donder, Blitzen. I'm Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Welcome to the Christmas edition of WIA National News, presented by Alara. Now, their president, Michelle VK1WIA.
This is the best news you'll get all week, and it comes from your WIA for week commencing December 17, 2023. This is the Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association, ALARA, presentation, which we do several times each year, including very close to Christmas. I'm ALARA President VK2AYL Michelle. Joining me this week, Leslie, VK5LOL, with the operational news covering contests and a look through the DX window, Shirley, VK5YL, who will be covering the international desk, and we'll also have AR Newsline's editor, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT. Linda, VK7QP, will handle special interest group news, WIA Director, Chris, VK3FY.
Happy holiday!
All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions, www.wia.org.au.
This is WIA Vice President Lee Moyle, VK3GK. Earlier this week, the ACMA announced their new arrangements for amateur radio. These include changes to licensing, qualifications, call signs, charges, examination assessors and overseas visiting amateurs. On the 19th of February 2024, the following aspects of the new arrangements will commence. The Radio Communications Amateur Service Class Licence 2023 Amateur Class Licence will be introduced. This will replace the current LCD. The revised qualifications framework will have the ACMA Recognition Certificate replace the current AOCP. ACMA will now be allocating qualification and call sign services. ACMA will start accepting new applications to be an ACMA accredited assessor. Revised arrangements for overseas visiting amateurs will be introduced. ACMA have advised for most amateur operators no action is needed to transition to the new arrangements. Upon the commencement of the amateur class licence on the 19th of February 24, non-assigned amateur apparatus licences may wish to surrender their licence and some will be eligible for a pro rata refund. So what are the main benefits? The annual renewal licence fee charged by ACMA has been removed. Every 5 years, the ACMA will check with call sign holders whether they still require the call sign. Call signs with the prefix VK0 or VK9, special event call signs and contest call signs will have designated assignment periods of 12 months. Amateur exams conducted by ACMA volunteer assessors will be free of charge and the results will be known on the day. Reciprocal licensing is to be simplified. HAREC licence holders will be deemed to have an equivalent ACMA recognition certificate advanced. Appropriately qualified overseas amateurs visiting Australia will be authorised to operate amateur stations under the proposed new class licence for a period of up to 365 days. It is important to note that if you wish to receive ACMA updates, please subscribe. Details are on the ACMA website. Keep watch on the WIA website and the official WIA Facebook page for up-to-date news releases. The WIA website news page has the recent ACMA article in full with links to the relevant reading of the class licence changes. For now, 7-3's from Lee, VK3GK, and over to you, Chris, VK3FY.
This is Chris Dimitrievich, VK3FY, with this week's WIA board comment. News from the ITU World Radio Communication Conference 2023, which concluded Friday, December the 15th in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. IAAU's primary effort focused on Agenda Item 9.1, Topic B, to address the amateur use of the 23 centimetre band and co-frequency use by several radio navigation satellite service systems in the 1240 to 1300 MHz band. IAAU's work that began 4 years ago and WRC preparatory meetings ensured that the amateur services were properly represented during the development of 2 published ITU-R reports, which formed the basis of the discussions at WRC 23. During the WRC 23 deliberations, strong positions were expressed by all parties involved. The result is a well-supported compromise for a footnote in the radio regulations. This footnote reminds administrations and amateurs of the need to protect the primary RNSS from interference, and it provides guidance for administrations to allow both services to continue to operate in this portion of the spectrum. Administrations are the bodies that govern amateur radio in their respective countries, such as the ACMA here in Australia. The Conference Plenary Compromise was formally adopted on December 8 and was not subject to further consideration during the final week of WRC 23. IARU President Tim Allen, VE6SH, noted, "This is a very good result for the amateur services. The decision reached at WRC 23 on this agenda item makes no change to the table or allocations, nor incorporates by reference M22164 into the radio regulations. The addition of a footnote that provides guidance to administrations in the event of interference to the RNSS is a good regulatory outcome for amateurs and the primary users of this band." The WRC also agreed to suppress Resolution 774, which closes the issue and satisfies the agenda item. The IARU team included our own Peter Coporni, VK2EMR, and VK1DSH Dale Hughes on behalf of the Wireless Institute of Australia. This has been Krista Matrievich, VK3FY, on behalf of the WIA Board of Directors. Now back to the special Alara Christmas edition of VK1WIA National News.
This is the Alara edition of the WIA National News Service, originating from VK1WIA.
Merry Christmas!
As regular newsreader Felix, VK4FUQ, often says, ham radio operational news, it's a contact sport. Hi, I'm Leslie, VK5LOL. Value of contest clubs. Contesting encompasses so much of the hobby, says seasoned contester Craig Thompson, K9CT, in the current episode of the On the Air podcast. From station building, learning how to operate, understanding propagation, knowing the rules, learning from your peers, that there's something in it for every ham radio operator. In this episode, Craig talks about why you might want to get involved with a contest club, what it entails, and how these specialised clubs stir up on-air activity that benefits every ham. Contest-wise, 2024. Ross Hull Memorial Contest. Running on VHF and above for the month of January, you nominate the best 7-day or 2-day period per category. January 2024, VHF UHF Summer Field Day, 13th to the 14th of January, 0 hours UTC Saturday to 0059 UTC Sunday. But to make it a little fairer in VK6, they add 3 hours onto start and end times. Australia Day Contest. It is held on the Australia Day public holiday, 26th of January. DX window to the world. When you get your amateur licence, it's been said that you've gotten your ticket. But what does it mean if you receive a golden ticket? One ham in the US organised a special event station on air right now that answers the question. It's no accident Shane Manzara's vanity call sign is Wonka, Whiskey Oscar November Kilo Alpha. He's a die-hard fan of the 1971 movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, in which golden tickets provide children with admission to a place of magic and unending supplies of chocolate. Shane and 2 friends are on the air calling QRZ using SSB and FT8 until day's end UTC time. That is today, the 17th of December. Work them or send a shortwave listener's report. If you include a stamped self-addressed envelope and a fee to cover the printing costs, you'll be getting a golden ticket, a shiny QSL card that Shane designed to look like the ticket in the original movie. Now that's a sweet deal. In the Christmas spirit, members of Radio Club Lyria are on the air as EH5 Xmas for the Christmas season, ending on the 7th of January. See qrz.com for QSL details. Christmas station PA2 Xmas leads a group of stations on the air from the Netherlands until the 31st of December. Stations operating include PD23 Santa, PH23 Xmas, PH23 HNY, and PD24 HNY. The two stations with the HNY suffix will remain on the air until the 24th of January. Leaving the best for last, Bouvet Island De-Expedition 2025. Operators are being sought who want to dedicate some of their time being a remote operator at 3Y0K. George AA7JV will design, test and supply 4 remote radios that will be accessible via Starlink to any operator worldwide. Sought are remote operators who have de-expedition experience, want to dedicate their time to remote operation and want to be part of the Bouvet team. You have to commit to operate like any other on-island operator, but you don't have to travel for 50 days. Remote operators from all over the world in different time zones. You want to experience how it is to operate from Bouvet and have fun while running the Bouvet piler. This has been Leslie, VK5LOL, for the WIA National Broadcast.
This is the Alara edition of the WIA National News Service, originating from VK1WIA.
Merry Christmas!
Good morning, listeners. I'm Shirley, VK5 Yankee Lima, with our Alara Christmas broadcast. If you've tuned in late this morning, I suggest you replay the news from wia.org.au to hear Director Chris, VK3FY's short wrap of the ITU World Radio Communication Conference 2023, WRC 23, which concluded Friday, December 15th in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The IARU team included our own Peter Pokorny, VK2EMR, and VK1DSH, Dale Hughes, for the Wireless Institute of Australia. Meet YL Racer, Romeo 1 Bravo India Golf, International Newsmaker for the year 2023. For our first story here at the International Desk, we have an awards presentation. The Amateur Radio Newsline International Newsmaker of the Year Award celebrates a clever and creative innovator in this, its 5th year. She is YL Racer, Romeo 1 Bravo India Golf / Oscar Hotel 7 Bravo Golf. Through social media and various websites, she has given the world a window into what it means to struggle and grow as a ham. New Lines editor Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, spoke with her.
Congratulations to Raisa Skrinikova, R1BIG. Her blogs, live streams, and YouTube videos are a source of information and goodwill. Raisa told Newsline why she decided to put her own story in the spotlight.
To show step by step that it is not very difficult to get and to pass the exam, to make your own equipment. You can also make your antenna yourself and put it and set it up yourself also. And I try to do all these videos and to show that the ham radio hobby is not so difficult and you can do small and simple steps and go know more and more information. Why I like ham radio hobby? Because every day, every time you need to learn something new. And this is the best thing, I think. I think that new technology and internet and social media will not kill the hobby. I think that they will help to the hobby because we can use them for promoting the hobby, make this hobby more popular. And that is exactly what I try to do.
We are proud of this year's International Newsmaker, Raisa, R1BIG. I'm Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, on this special Alara edition of the WIA National News.
Thanks, Karen. WIA National News made mention last week of the Science Forum South Africa 2023 gathering. Well, the SARL AMSAT SA display at Science Forum South Africa was awarded a special mention award for the best display and audience interaction. The award was presented at the closing ceremony of the forum. Hans van der Groenendaal, ZS6AKV, and Brian Jacobs, ZS6YZ, who were responsible for developing and executing the display, received the frame certificate from the Director General of the Department of Science and Technology and Innovation. The forum at the CSIR Convention Centre was attended by over 4,000 delegates. The joint display, with the theme Science in Amateur Radio, featured the AMSAT SA dual-band Yagi antenna, a prototype of the AfriCube satellite, the SARL RF noise monitoring system, and the SARL 2-meter Karoo beacon project. The RF noise monitoring system output was displayed on a large screen showing in real time the RF noise level at the convention centre. It was significant to see the drop in the RF noise level at night when all the LED lighting and computers were switched off. Region 2. Radio Amateurs of Canada received the sad news that former RAC President Daniel Lamoureux, VE2KA, became a silent key December 2, 2023, at the age of 79. RAC offered its sincere condolences to his family and friends. In addition to being president of RAC, Daniel was also a member of the Administrative and Financial Committee for several years. He had also been involved in the administration of RAC as IARU Region 2 President and International Speaker. He had been president of RACI for several years from the mid-1990s to the early 2000s. Over to the USA now. Amateur Radio Digital Communications ARDC and the ARRL Foundation announced a 3-year commitment with over $2.1 million in combined funding to support scholarships for radio amateurs, radio technology for classroom teachers, and amateur radio club grants. This commitment reinforces a strong shared vision between ARRL and ARDC to invest in the future of amateur radio through programs supporting the next generation of radio amateurs. The renewed commitment will result in over 200 total scholarships awarded over the next 3 years for radio amateurs pursuing higher education. HAM-SCI publishes initial observations from October annular solar eclipse. Hundreds of amateurs participated in the HAM-SCI event by getting on the air. Combining their data with contacts from other amateur contest activities, Citizen Science Corporation contributed to one of the largest participatory days ever in amateur radio history. 300-plus logs are helping yield data for the HAM-SCI team, led by Nathaniel Frissell, W2NAF. The QSO party helped flesh out the overall picture, along with data collection from more than 7 million QSOs spotted on the air, and a variety of experiments to study the solar eclipse's effects on the ionosphere. Observations show that signals from medium-wave AM stations located to the north across the annual eclipse path showed significant signal strength enhancements associated with the eclipse, whereas signals from AM stations to the south did not. Region 3, Hyderabad. The Lamakan Amateur Radio Club has just held a most successful amateur radio convention at Mufakam Jar College of Engineering and Technology. This year's event marked a significant milestone in the club's history, bringing together over 500 amateur radio enthusiasts from across the nation. Amateur radio, being a hobby and service which brings people, electronics and communication together, certainly did just this. Still in India, Agartala is the capital city of Tripura, a northeast Indian state. There was a time when the use of amateur radio sets in the entire northeast region was banned due to the insurgent movement that persisted for decades. The Indian government took this drastic step because the unauthorized use of radio sets for communication had substantially increased. However, in December 2018, the ban was lifted paving the way for a significant transition in the field of communication for emergency situations in Tripura. Ham radio is now Tripura's second line of emergency communication. Speaking on the significance of ham radio, Tripura's first licensed operator, Ham Biswajit Sahar, explained that radio operation is a scientific hobby that drives individuals towards social service. With around 500 licensed amateur radio operators, Tripura is one of the leading states in the northeast, successfully developing a second line of communication channel for public service during natural disasters. Almost all districts in Tripura now have radio stations in the district-level headquarters of the Emergency Operations System Centres. Additionally, repeater stations and block-level stations are being installed to overhaul the disaster management response system. Alara wishes all our listeners a happy Christmas and a safe New Year. 33 and 73. Shirley, VK5, Yankee Lima. Going clear.
This is the Alara edition of the WIA National News Service, originating from VK1WIA.
Merry Christmas!
This is Linda, VK7QP, with Worldwide Special Interest Group news. Adventure groups plus summits on the air. Is it lonely at the top for some of us YLs? Maybe that might be true a little bit in SOTA, but one YL in the USA hopes to get more YLs involved in the awards scheme that has activators hiking and climbing to their destination. Paula, K9IR, is a proud mountain goat in the SOTA awards scheme. 3 years ago, she had a tally of 1,000 points earned from more than 150 summit activations, qualifying her for the award. 2 years later, she achieved her second mountain goat designation. It shows her commitment to travelling to recognise summits, and it shows her effectiveness in achieving the required number of contacts to qualify a summit. Writing on the SOTA Reflector, Paula announced recently that a number of events are planned for the coming year that focus specifically on YLs. She's reaching out to YLs who are activating summits now or who have an interest in trying it out. She announced that a survey will be going out shortly to find out what events in particular will get more YLs into SOTA, with the hope of re-engaging those YLs who are no longer active or not active yet. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, CW. Do you want to telegraph your support of the World Radio Sport Team Championship, which will be held in England? You don't have to be a CW operator to support WRTC 2026, but it helps, especially if you want to become the owner of one of the limited edition paddles designed for the event organisers by CT1ILT. Each key sold in this limited edition design will have its own unique serial number. Display it in your shack or, better still, use it on the air during the event in July of 2026 as 50 qualifying teams arrive in the UK to represent their home countries in what is viewed as the Olympics of amateur radio. Worldwide Special Interest Groups, Final Frontier. Congratulations to all the men and women in space and all the students and educators who have connected with them over the years. In November, amateur radio communications between space and the Earth marked its 40th year. These dialogues began in 1983 with the program known as the Shuttle Amateur Radio Experiment, or SAREX. SAREX was replaced in the year 2000 by amateur radio on the International Space Station. Geo-satellite proposal. In response to the recent geo-satellite proposal outlined by the European Space Agency, AMSAT UK, British Amateur Television Club, AMSAT NA and the UK Microwave Group have outlined their own proposal that suggests potential satellite coverage areas, microwave bands, laser communications and more. The proposal illustrates several coverage scenarios with a focus on including as much population as possible across Europe and Canada simultaneously. Depending on the satellite's position, the majority, to very little of the overall North American landmass could be included. The proposal states that the entirety of Canada and Europe cannot be covered simultaneously. Ireland. To coincide with the launch of AirSat-1, the recently formed teacher support body OIDE has, with the assistance of South Dublin Radio Club, developed a learning pack for the second-level students based on radio communication. The pack, which forms just part of the great initiative, also contains an SDR receiver station, which can be put together in minutes, and students can see a visual display of the radio spectrum. Castleknock College in Dublin was amongst 5 to receive this pack during the week, where it went down as a great success amongst the students. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Flying Hams. WX5WX recently established a multi-mode watering hole for amateur radio operators interested in aviation. Pilots and enthusiasts alike are welcome to discuss a wide range of topics, including both manned and unmanned aircraft. Flying hams can be found at the many frequencies and platforms noted in the text edition of this WIA news, being read this week by members of ALARA. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Military, Texas, USA. Part of the Greater Austin metropolitan area has a town called Liberty Hill. Mark Hensley and his daughter Irasemi, a sophomore at Liberty Hill High School, are a lot like most fathers and daughters who share a common interest. Together, the pair have spent the last year donating short-wave sets to an infantry unit of the Army of the Gambia, West Africa. The Hensleys' involvement in this endeavour is driven by their shared love for amateur radio and a deep appreciation of the soldiers' need to stay informed through local and international radio broadcasts. This connection was initiated online when Mark began talking to a Lance Corporal of the Gambian Army via Facebook. Mark and his daughter decided to send a shortwave receiver because they hadn't had access to the technology before. Since then, he and Irasemi have sent several more packages to the battalion with even more shortwave receivers. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Radio Amateur Young Timers YOTA, Youngsters on the Air. Many youngsters in schools across the world get to talk via ham radio to astronauts aboard the International Space Station, but not all get to build their own communicator to do it. Erie County in Pennsylvania is where Harbour Creek High School students got to chat in real time with astronauts at the International Space Station, using equipment they built from the ground up. It was the moment these high schoolers worked so hard for over the past 9 months. The teenagers are part of a robust amateur radio program at the school. On Monday last, they captured the interest of classmates, teachers, and the entire Harbour Creek community as they asked thoughtful questions about life in space, lessons learned, and future missions of the astronauts. For these incredibly bright kids in this program, the sky is the limit. This is Linda, VK1WIA, signing off and wishing you a happy Christmas and all the best for the new year.
Happy holiday!
2024. It's a date. Clubs are welcome to email, text with audio for this section. Details of all WIA affiliated clubs and societies can be found on the WIA website, including email addresses and website links. VK3, the BARG Hamfest on the 4th of February next year at the BARG Club Rooms at Ballarat Airport at 10 a.m. VK, the WIA AGM over the weekend of May 4 and 5 at Bundaberg. Then there is the ALARA contest, which is always held on the last full weekend of August, and in 2024 this will be on the 25th and 26th of August. VK3, the SP ARC Rosebud Radio Fest on November 17th at Eastbourne Primary School, Allambie Avenue, Rosebud. This is Michelle, VK2AYL. I'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Alara.
You've been listening to VK1WIA and the Christmas edition of WIA National News, presented by Alara.
Courtesy of Bevan, VK5BD's ATV and YouTube channel, this has been WIA National News. We're back now, live and local,